So I just got approved for the Wyndham Rewards Earner Business Card. And although it was one of the most difficult approval processes I've ever had to go through, I definitely think it's worth it. And it's a card I think more people should consider. So today I'll give you some tips on how to get approved for the card and a few reasons why I think it's a valuable card worth getting. To help this video get out there, please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm and consider supporting the channel using the affiliate links down in the description below to apply for credit cards. And let's get started. So the Wyndham Earner Business Card is a credit card issued by Barclays Bank that doesn't get talked about very often. Being issued by Barclays Bank definitely means there's some annoyances with getting this card, but there's a lot of reasons to love this card and I think it's worth getting if you can. Reason number one to consider this card is that really it pays for itself. Each anniversary year you hold this card, you'll automatically get 15,000 Wyndham points, which is enough for up to 2 free nights at participating Wyndham properties. That's worth around $150, but could definitely be more. For me, even though this card has a $95 annual fee, I'm happy to pay that since I can easily get more value from the anniversary points on top of all the other perks that we'll talk about with this card. Reason number two to consider the Wyndham Earner Business Card is that it's easy to earn a lot of points with the card. For instance, with the current welcome bonus, you can earn up to 100,000 Wyndham points. You'll earn 50,000 points after spending $4,000 on the card in the first 90 days, and you can earn an additional 50,000 points after you spend $15,000 on the card in the first 12 months. The Wyndham Earner Business also earns 8 points per dollar on gas and Wyndham hotel stays, 5x on marketing, advertising, and utilities, and 1x on pretty much everything else. 8x on gas and 5x on advertising is fantastic, but do keep in mind that these are Wyndham points you're earning on this card, which are limited to travel, like booking Wyndham hotels, for instance, and there's not a great way to redeem these points for cash. However, you can also redeem Wyndham points for vacation rentals through Vacasa, which is the third reason to consider the Wyndham Earner Business. With this card, you can book Vacasa vacation rentals at 15,000 points or 30,000 points per bedroom per night. The thing that's nice about this is that vacation rentals are not the easiest to book using points, but you can find some really good sweet spots with this partnership that can give you more than 1 cent per point, which is the typical value of Wyndham rewards points. In order to book Vacasa rooms, you'll need to call into Wyndham to do this. You cannot book online, and if you need to cancel, you'll need to do so before 30 days or you will forfeit all the points for your booking. One nice perk to the Wyndham Earner Business that makes this even better is that all points bookings get 10% off, and that includes these Vacasa rentals. Reason number four to consider the Wyndham Earner Business is that you'll automatically get Wyndham Diamond status. Now, Wyndham isn't a hotel brand that I would normally pay much attention to, but right now Wyndham Diamond status can be extremely valuable. Wyndham Diamond itself is nice since you can get complimentary room upgrades, including suites, early check-in and late checkout, and a welcome amenity at check-in. But where Wyndham Diamond status starts to get really interesting is when you match to Caesars Diamond status, which brings us to reason number five to consider this card, which is status matching. Status matching is one of the least marketed benefits on this card, but it's potentially the most valuable perk on any travel credit card right now, and I'll show you how. Wyndham and Caesars have a reciprocal status match agreement, which means you can match the status you have with one automatically to the other. Caesars is of course the popular Las Vegas hotel casino brand, and even if you're not a regular casino goer, there are a lot of benefits that you can get, such as a $100 celebration dinner, free parking at Caesars property, and a highly discounted stay of up to 5 nights at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. I say highly discounted because even though this is marketed as a free stay, you still have to pay the resort fees, which can be upwards of $50 or $60 per night. So to me, this is mostly a highly discounted stay. But that's just the beginning of this whole status matching process, and it gets a lot better. Currently, you can match Caesars Diamond status to a lot of places that can get you multiple free cruises, free meals, free spa visits, and hotel statuses. And I've gotten not one, but 2 free cruises this year from matching my Caesars Diamond status last year. Without going into the details of all these status matches, just know that you can match Caesars Diamond status to Carnival Cruise Line and get up to a free balcony cruise. You can match Caesars Diamond to Hard Rock Icon status. You can match Hard Rock Icon to Ocean Prime status in Atlantic City and get up to a 10-day free cruise on MSC Cruise Lines. You can match Caesars Diamond status to Win Platinum for a $100 spa credit, and also get a complimentary ocean view cabin on Holland America Cruise Line. And you can match that Wyndham Platinum status over to Fontainebleau Gold status, which will get you $150 in dining credits and a $150 spa credit. It's not an exaggeration to say that you can get literally thousands of dollars in travel from all of these status matches. And while some of these offers do expire soon, there seems to always be some very interesting matches. And personally, I've had many free meals and stays, as well as 2 free cruises from doing this. And by the way, I did do a video breaking down this process in more detail if you want to check that out. Now, as good as all of this sounds, it definitely comes at a cost, and that cost is dealing with Barclays Bank. There are a lot of horror stories from people that it took months and months to get through Barclays' application process, only to be told that they were denied, or told that they had to apply again since it had been so long since they had originally applied, even though it was Barclays that was drawing out the process. And while my experience, which I'll be sharing with you, wasn't that bad, it's definitely a possibility to end up like that. So be ready for that if you apply for this card. However, plenty of people also get instantly approved for the card. And I definitely figured out some things that I think will help you. So now let's talk about some tips on getting approved for the Wyndham Earner Business Card. So my experience with Barclays is that they are very slow and antiquated, but if you do everything that they want you to do correctly, it can be a pretty smooth process. For reference, a day or two after I applied, I checked the status of my application and was told I was denied. But when I called in to ask why that was, I was told that I was recommended for approval by one department, but that the security department needed to verify my identity. This is very common for Barclays, especially if you're new to them like I was, and it involves mailing in a physical copy of your social security card and driver's license. You cannot email or send anything online. So I made sure these documents were very clearly copied, since I had heard reports that Barclays can really draw out the process, making you send in these documents again if they are unclear. Another thing to be aware of is when you apply as certain business entities, you might be required to send in some of your legal documents as well as many bank statements. From the many experiences that I read about online, it seemed that sole proprietorships had to send in much less information than other business entities like LLCs. And I would definitely recommend applying under any sole proprietorships you might have, rather than applying as a different business entity. In case you don't know what a sole proprietorship, it's basically a business entity that anyone can set up by declaring that they have a business, such as a blog, podcast, YouTube channel, or book, or many other types of businesses. And while there are a lot fewer protections, it's a lot less stringent to set up. So after I had physically mailed in my documents, it took Barclays about 2 to 3 weeks to review them. I then received a letter that I had to call in to verify the information on the documents that they had received. And just when I thought I was in the clear, they asked me to verify my mother's maiden name, which I gave them. And apparently I had filled this out incorrectly on the application. The person I was talking to had to put me on hold, and it seemed like I was about to get denied, but thankfully I was able to give them the name that I had put on the application, and they approved me. I received my card a little over 1 month after applying. My Wyndham Diamond status came in the next day or two after getting approved, and matching my Diamond status over to Caesars, which you can do online, took about 2 weeks to complete. Some rules that are specific to Barclays Bank that you'll want to watch out for are rules like the 624 rule. This is a rule very similar to Chase's 524 rule, and it's an unofficial rule that says you can't get approved for Barclays Bank if you've been approved for 6 or more credit cards from any issuer in the last 24 months. Barclays also has a no duplicate card rule, which means you can't hold 2 of the same Wyndham Earner business cards, for example. And in order to reapply for a new card, for instance, you'll need to first cancel the first card, and usually waiting at least 6 months before attempting to reapply. However, these rules are very inconsistently enforced, and Barclays could be more or less strict with you depending on your situation. My number one piece of advice if you do apply for this card is to apply as a sole proprietorship, which is something nearly anyone can do if you have any sort of income or ventures outside of a 9-to-5 job, such as a book, blog, podcast, or YouTube channel, or you make money selling things on Facebook, eBay, or pretty much any other income outside of a job. The whole approval process can be very annoying, but very worth it, and I highly recommend this card. So if you want to check out more on status matching, then be sure to check out my video on how to get up to 2 free cruises. And if you want to learn more about my favorite travel credit cards, check out this video here. But that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.